At my sister's wedding, the photographer kept saying, "Just family for this one." I stepped out of every shot. After an hour, I realized I hadn't been in a single photo. I didn't cry. I just left through the side door. 29 am writing this from my apartment, 400 miles away from my family, while my phone vibrates with increasingly frantic messages. They finally noticed I was gone. It only took them 2 days. This is the story of how I was erased from my sister's wedding and how my quiet exit became the loudest statement I ever made. The Golden Child. My sister Hannah, 26F, has always been the center of our family's universe. Not in subtle ways. In obvious, everyone can see it ways. She was the planned baby. The wanted baby. The cherished daughter. I was the accident. The surprise that came 3 years earlier when Mom was 23 and Dad was 25 and neither of them was ready for kids. They had me anyway. But they never let me forget I wasn't part of the plan. "We were going to travel," Mom would say wistfully. "See the world before having kids. But then you came along." Hannah, though? Hannah was anticipated, prepared for, celebrated. By the time she arrived, they were ready. Financially stable. Emotionally prepared. Excited. Everything I wasn't. The difference showed in every aspect of our childhood. Hannah got the bigger bedroom. The newer clothes. The expensive birthday parties. I got hand-me-downs and small celebrations because we already did the big parties with you. Hannah got piano lessons, dance classes, art camp. I got we can't afford 2 sets of activities. Hannah got their attention. Their time. Their pride. I got leftovers. "Drew's self-sufficient," they'd say. "He doesn't need as much." I needed exactly as much. I just learned not to ask. Growing up invisible. High school was when I really understood my place. Hannah was a cheerleader. Popular. Homecoming court. The daughter Mom and Dad bragged about. I was there. Average grades. Few friends. Invisible. At Hannah's volleyball games, the whole family showed up. Mom, Dad, both sets of grandparents. They'd scream her name and take photos and celebrate every point. I played baseball. JV. Then varsity. Mom and Dad came to 2 games total in 3 years. "We're so busy with Hannah's schedule," Mom explained. "You understand." I understood that Hannah mattered, and I didn't. College applications rolled around. Hannah applied to expensive private schools. "We'll make it work," Dad said. Hannah's education is important. I applied to state schools with good scholarship programs. "You're so smart to think practically," Mom said. Not everyone needs a fancy private education. Hannah got into her first choice. Full tuition paid by our parents. I got into a good state school. Partial scholarship. The rest covered by loans I took out myself. "You'll appreciate it more because you worked for it," Dad said. I appreciated that they spent $50,000 a year on Hannah and $0 on me. The engagement. Hannah got engaged last year to Connor, 28M. He's fine. Nice enough. Comes from money. Works in finance. Everything our parents wanted for her. The engagement party was elaborate. Country club. 150 guests. Champagne and a string quartet. I drove 8 hours to be there. Gave a toast that took me 2 weeks to write. Hannah hugged me. "Thanks for coming, Drew. It means a lot." It was the most acknowledgement I'd gotten in years. The wedding planning began immediately. No expense spared. Destination venue. Celebrity-adjacent photographer. Designer dress. The whole production. "This is Hannah's day," Mom said at every planning session. "Everything has to be perfect." I wasn't involved in the planning. Wasn't asked for input. Wasn't included in family meetings about the wedding. "We don't want to burden you," Mom said when I asked. "You're so busy with work." I wasn't too busy. I just wasn't important enough to include. The bachelor party. Connor's bachelor party was in Vegas. 3 days. High-end. I wasn't invited. "It's mostly Connor's college friends," Hannah explained. "You wouldn't know anyone. I'm your brother." "I know, but it's Connor's thing. Not really family." His brother was going. 3 of his cousins. But not me. I let it go. The bachelorette party was in Nashville. Also 3 days. Also expensive. I obviously wasn't invited to that. But neither was I invited to any pre-wedding events. The dress fitting party. The venue walkthrough. The rehearsal dinner planning. Just trying to keep the group small, Hannah said. Small meant Hannah's friends, Connor's family, and our parents. Not me. The week of. The wedding week arrived. I took time off work. Drove 8 hours. Booked a hotel near the venue. The rehearsal dinner was Friday night. I showed up on time. Wore the suit I'd bought specifically for the occasion. Walked into the private room at the restaurant. Everyone was already there. Seated. Mid-conversation. No one noticed me enter. I stood in the doorway for a full minute before Hannah saw me.
Oh, Drew.
You made it. Like she'd forgotten I was coming. There was no seat for me at the main table. I sat at the end of a side table with Connor's distant cousins who didn't know who I was. Speeches happened. Connor's dad gave a long toast about gaining a daughter. My dad gave an emotional speech about Hannah's childhood. Mom cried happy tears. No one asked me to speak. I wasn't on the program. At the end of the night, I approached Hannah. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you. Thanks, Drew. I'm so glad you're here. She said it the way you thank someone for showing up to your open house. Polite. Distant. Perfunctory. I went back to my hotel room and stared at the ceiling for 3 hours. The wedding day. Saturday. The big day. The wedding was at 4 p.m. I arrived at 3:30. The venue was beautiful. Expensive. Every detail perfect. I found my seat. Back row. Next to people I didn't recognize. Hannah's college roommate was in the front row. Connor's cousins were in the third row. I was in the back with the coworkers who probably didn't want to be there. The ceremony was beautiful. Hannah looked happy. Connor cried. Mom cried. Dad cried. I sat in the back and felt nothing. Just numbness. After the ceremony, cocktail hour. I stood alone with a drink, watching families take photos. Reunions. Hugs. Laughter. No one approached me. I might as well have been invisible. The photos. That's when the photographer started gathering people. Family photos, she called out cheerfully. I walked over. Stood with the group. Okay, let's do bride's side first. Parents and bride. Hannah, Mom, Dad. They posed. Camera clicked. Great. Now, add grandparents. Both sets of grandparents joined. More clicks. Beautiful. Now, let's get the extended family on bride's side. Aunts, uncles, cousins filed in. I stood there, waiting for my turn. Perfect, the photographer said. Now, let's do groom's side. Wait. Excuse me, I said. I haven't been in any photos yet. The photographer looked at her list. Name? Drew. I'm Hannah's brother. Oh. She looked flustered. I'm so sorry. Let me just, Hannah, do you want her brother in the family photos? Everyone turned to look at me. Hannah's face did something complicated. We just did family. But we can do one with Drew. One photo. After 12 family photos. One photo with me. We posed. Camera clicked once. Great, the photographer said. Now, let's do bridal party. I stepped aside. Actually, Hannah said to the photographer, let's just do immediate family one more time. Parents and me. They posed again. Multiple shots. Different angles. Lots of time. I stood to the side. The reception photos. The reception started. Dinner. Toasts. Dancing. More photo opportunities. Let's get a shot of the bride with her family at their table. I wasn't at their table. I was at a table in the back with people I didn't know. Bride and groom with parents. For people, not 5. Bride dancing with her father. Beautiful moment. Many photos. Bride with her mom and aunts. All the women in the family. Except they forgot to include me because I'm not a woman, obviously, but the point is they gathered Hannah's people and I wasn't in that category. An hour into the reception, I did the math. The photographer had taken approximately 400 photos. I was in one photo, out of 400, at my sister's wedding, where I was the only sibling, the only brother. And I'd been systematically excluded from every single family photo except the one obligatory shot where I'd had to ask to be included. The realization. I stood there, drink in hand, watching my family laugh and celebrate and pose for photos. None of them looked for me. None of them noticed I wasn't in the pictures. None of them thought, wait, where's Drew? Because they didn't think of me as family. Not really. I was the obligation. The accident. The one they invited because they had to, not because they wanted to. Something crystallized in that moment. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I was just done. Done pretending this was normal. Done accepting crumbs. Done being invisible. I set my drink down on the nearest table.
I looked around one last time.
Mom was laughing with Hannah. Dad was talking to Connor's dad. Hannah was glowing, surrounded by her friends.
No one was looking at me.
No one noticed me standing there. I walked toward the side exit, the one by the kitchen that the staff used. Still no one looked. I pushed open the door. Cool evening air hit my face. I walked to my car.
Got in.
Started the engine. And I left.
The drive.
I didn't cry during the 8-hour drive home.
I didn't feel sad.
I felt clear. Clear about where I stood. Clear about what I was worth to them. Clear about what I needed to do. I stopped at a rest stop around 2 a.m., sat in my car in the dark parking lot. My phone had been on silent. I checked it. 2 texts. One from Connor's cousin asking if I knew where the bathroom was. Wrong person. One from a college friend asking how the wedding was. Nothing from my family. No, where did you go? No, are you okay? No, we missed you for the cake cutting. Nothing. They hadn't noticed. I turned my phone off and drove the remaining 4 hours. Got home at 6 a.m. Fell into bed. Slept for 12 hours.
Sunday.
I woke up Sunday afternoon. Turned my phone on. Still nothing from my family. The wedding had ended at midnight. It was now 2 p.m. the next day. They'd had 14 hours to notice I wasn't there for the end of the reception. And still, nothing. I made coffee. Sat on my balcony. Watched the city below. My phone finally buzzed at 4 p.m.
Mom.
Hey, honey, just wanted to say thank you for coming to the wedding. It meant so much to Hannah that you were there. I stared at the text. She thought I'd been there the whole time. They all thought I'd been there the whole time. No one had noticed me leave at 7 p.m. for hours into a 6-hour reception. I didn't respond.
Monday.
Monday morning, I went to work. Caught up on emails. Attended meetings. Normal day. My phone stayed quiet. I assumed they were busy with post-wedding brunch, gift opening, honeymoon preparations. I didn't care. I'd made my decision during that 8-hour drive. I was done with this family. Done attending events where I wasn't wanted. Done accepting scraps of acknowledgement. Done pretending one photo out of 400 was acceptable. I started the process that afternoon. Changed my emergency contact at work from my parents to my best friend Marcus. Updated my medical directives. Removed my parents as healthcare proxies.
Called my bank.
Removed mom as my account beneficiary. Started drafting an email to my extended family. I wasn't going to explain. Wasn't going to justify. I was just going to quietly remove myself from their lives the same way they'd removed me from the photos. Completely. Systematically. Thoroughly. Tuesday morning, the photo album. Tuesday morning, my phone started ringing at 7 a.m.
Mom.
I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. On the 4th call, I answered. Drew. Oh, thank God. Where are you? Home. At work in an hour. Why? When did you leave the wedding? Interesting question. Why do you ask? Hannah got the photos back from the photographer this morning. The early preview. We're looking through them, and...
She paused.
You're only in one photo. I know. What do you mean you know? I mean I know I'm only in one photo. I was there. I counted. But why didn't you tell someone? Why didn't you make sure you were in more photos? I did tell someone. I told the photographer. She asked Hannah if she wanted me in the family photos. Hannah said she'd just done family photos, but we could do one with me. Silence. We did one photo with me. And then she went back to taking photos without me. That can't be right. Mom, I was there. I watched it happen. For an hour, I watched the photographer take photos of every possible family combination except ones that included me. Why didn't you say something? I did. No one cared. So I left. You left. At 7 p.m. 4 hours before the reception ended. You left the wedding? Yes. Why? I laughed. Actually laughed. Why do you think, Mom? I don't understand. I'm in one photo.
One.
Out of hundreds. At my only sister's wedding. Where I'm the only sibling. And you want to know why I left? We didn't mean. You didn't notice. That's the point. I was there for the ceremony. There for cocktail hour. There for the first hour of the reception. And I left. And no one noticed for 2 days. We were busy. You weren't too busy to take 400 photos. You just didn't think to include me in any of them. Drew. I have to go. I'm late for work. I hung up. The group chat explodes. The family group chat, the one I'd muted months ago, exploded. I unmuted it just to see. Mom. Did anyone know Drew left the wedding early?
Dad, what?
He left. Hannah. When did he leave? Mom. He said 7 p.m. Before dinner service even ended. Hannah. Why didn't he say goodbye? Aunt Linda. 7 p.m.? And no one noticed? Dad. I thought I saw him later. Mom. That was Connor's cousin. They look similar. Hannah. I need to call him. Mom. He's not answering. He sounds really upset.
Dad, about what?
Mom. The photos. He's only in one photo. Uncle Mike. One photo. Aunt Linda. At his sister's wedding? How is that possible? Hannah. The photographer must have made a mistake. Mom. Drew says he tried to get in more photos but was told they were doing just family. Aunt Linda. His family. Grandma Rose. Someone explain what's happening. Mom. Drew left Hannah's wedding early because he wasn't included in family photos. Grandma Rose. He wasn't included? Why not? Hannah. It wasn't on purpose. The photographer must have been confused. Aunt Linda. For the entire reception? No one noticed he wasn't in photos for 4 hours? Silence in the chat. Then, Grandma Rose. I want to talk to Drew. Someone give me his number. I turn my phone off. The intervention attempt. Tuesday evening, there was a knock at my door. I looked through the peephole. Dad. I didn't open it. He knocked again. Drew, I know you're home. Your car's here. Please open the door. I sat on my couch and waited. He knocked for 5 more minutes. Then gave up. Left a voicemail. Son, we need to talk about this. What happened at the wedding was an oversight. No one meant to exclude you. Please call me back. An oversight that lasted 4 hours. An oversight that no one noticed for 2 days. An oversight that included 400 photos where they somehow overlooked me every single time. I deleted the voicemail. Hannah's call. Wednesday morning, Hannah called. I answered. Drew, I'm so sorry. Okay. I didn't realize you weren't in the photos. I was so busy with everything, I just didn't notice. I know. Can we talk about this? I want to make it right.
How?
I don't know. Maybe we can set up another photo session? You could come back and we could take some family photos. You want me to drive 8 hours to recreate photos from a wedding I already attended? I don't want you to be hurt. I'm not hurt, Hannah. I'm done. Done with what? Done pretending I'm part of this family when you all clearly don't see me that way. That's not true. You're my brother. I'm in one photo at your wedding.
One.
And no one noticed I was missing for 2 days. It was a mistake.
No.
It was the truth. You don't think of me as family. Not really. I'm the obligation. The afterthought. The brother you invite because you're supposed to, not because you want to. That's not fair. What's not fair is pretending this is about the photos. The photos just made it visible. This has been my entire life. I don't know what you mean. Hannah, Mom and Dad paid $50,000 a year for your college. 0 for mine. You got piano lessons and dance classes. I got we can't afford 2 kids and activities. They came to all your volleyball games. 2 of my baseball games in 3 years. The favoritism has been obvious my entire life. The photos just finally proved it. I didn't know. Yes, you did. You just didn't care, because you were the one getting everything. She was crying now. What do you want me to do? Nothing. I don't want anything. I'm just done. Drew, please. I have to go. I hung up the email. That evening, I sent an email to my extended family. Subject: moving forward. To everyone who's reached out. Thank you for your concern. I'm fine. I left Hannah's wedding early because after an hour of being excluded from family photos, I realized I wasn't seen as part of the family. When I brought it up, I was offered one obligatory photo and then excluded from everything else. This isn't about the photos. The photos just made visible what's been true my entire life. I've never been a priority to my immediate family. I'm not angry. I'm not hurt. I'm just done. I'm done attending events where I'm an afterthought. I'm done accepting being treated as less important than my sister. I'm done pretending this is normal. I'm not asking for apologies or explanations. I'm simply informing you that I'm stepping back from family events going forward. For those of you who want to maintain individual relationships, I'm open to that. But I'm done with the group family dynamic. I wish everyone well.
Drew.
I sent it to everyone except my parents and Hannah. The responses came quickly. Grandma Rose, call me. Aunt Linda. I've been watching this happen for years. I'm sorry I didn't say something sooner. Uncle Mike, you're always welcome at our house. Family or not. Cousin Jenna, I noticed you weren't in photos. I thought you'd left early. I should have said something. I'm sorry. Some people understood. Most people were uncomfortable. A few people took my parents' side. They did their best. You're holding a grudge. I didn't argue with anyone. I just blocked the ones who couldn't understand and moved on. The package. A week later, a package arrived. From Hannah. Inside was a framed photo. The one photo from the wedding where I appeared. Me, Hannah, Mom, and Dad. The only proof I'd been there at all. There was a note. Drew, I know one photo isn't enough. But it's all we have. I'm sorry we made you feel invisible. I'm sorry I didn't notice. I love you. Hannah. I looked at the photo. We were all smiling. Picture-perfect family. Except I could see it now, the way I was positioned slightly outside the group. The way Mom's hand was on Hannah's shoulder, but not touching me. The way Dad was angled toward Hannah. Even in the one photo that included me, I was still on the outside. I put the frame in a drawer and forgot about it. 2 months later. It's been 2 months since the wedding. My parents have called 47 times. I've answered twice. Both conversations were brief. Surface level.
How are you? They ask.
Fine, I say. Hannah has sent long texts apologizing, explaining, justifying. I respond with single words. Okay. Thanks. Understood. I'm not being cruel. I'm just not engaging. I've built a life that doesn't include them. Marcus is my emergency contact. My best friend Tyler is my healthcare proxy. I'm planning to spend Thanksgiving with friends. Christmas alone. My birthday came and went. They sent cards. I didn't respond. I'm not punishing them. I'm just no longer participating in a family dynamic where I'm not valued. The wedding album. Last week, Hannah called from a blocked number. I answered out of curiosity. The full wedding album came. Okay. There are 847 photos. Okay. You're in one. I know. Everyone keeps asking where you are. In every photo. Where's your brother? Is Drew not in this album? What do you tell them? The truth. That I excluded you without realizing it. Good. Mom wants to hire the photographer again. Do a reshoot.
No.
Drew, please. We can fix this. You can't fix it, Hannah. You can't go back and include me in the photos. You can't go back and notice I left. You can't go back and treat me like I mattered. I know, but going forward, I'm not attending family events. That's the boundary I'm setting. Forever. For as long as I need to. When will you know? When you prove I actually matter to you. Not when it's convenient. Not when it looks bad that I'm not there. When I actually matter. You matter to me. Then prove it. I hung up. The proof. Here's what would prove it. Acknowledging the favoritism. Not just the wedding. The entire childhood. The college funding. The attention. The priorities. All of it. Apologizing for the pattern. Not we did our best or we didn't mean to. A real apology that says we treated you as less important and that was wrong. Showing change. Not promises. Not words. Actions over time that demonstrate I'm valued. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm also not going back to accepting crumbs. The new normal. My life without them is peaceful. I have friends who notice when I'm missing. I have relationships where I'm not an afterthought. I have a chosen family who includes me in photos without being asked. Last week, Tyler's sister got married. I was invited to the bachelor party, included in all the pre-wedding events, seated at the family table at the reception. The photographer took family photos. Want to include friends? She asked. Drew's family, Tyler said. He's in all of them. I was in 47 photos at a wedding for someone who wasn't even my blood relative, because they considered me family, something my actual family never did. The lesson. I learned something important through all this. You teach people how to treat you by what you accept. I accepted being second best for 29 years. I accepted scraps of attention while Hannah got the feast. I accepted being excluded, overlooked, and undervalued. And they learned they could treat me that way, without consequences. The wedding wasn't the problem. It was just the moment where the problem became visible. One photo out of 847. That's what I was worth to them. And once I saw it clearly, I couldn't unsee it. So I left, quietly, through the side door. And I'm never going back. To anyone in a similar situation. If you're the overlooked child, the afterthought, the one who doesn't get included in the photos, you don't owe them your presence. You don't owe them your acceptance of their mistreatment. You don't owe them a relationship just because you share DNA. Leave through the side door if you need to. Walk away from people who don't value you. Build a family of people who notice when you're missing. You deserve to be in the photos. All of them, not just the obligatory one. Final update. Thanksgiving is next week. I'm spending it with Marcus and his family. They invited me 6 weeks ago. Made sure I knew I was wanted, not just tolerated. I got a text from Mom yesterday. We're doing Thanksgiving at our house. Will you be there? I replied, no. I have other plans. She replied, what plans? Like I couldn't possibly have plans that don't involve them. Plans with people who notice when I'm in the room. She didn't respond. Hannah sent a separate text. Please come to Thanksgiving. It won't be the same without you. I almost laughed. It's been without me my entire life. They just never noticed until I stopped showing up. I didn't respond. I'm done explaining. Done justifying. Done defending my boundaries. I'm just living my life. With people who see me, value me, include me. People who would notice if I left through the side door. For everyone asking, don't you miss your family? I miss the family I deserved, not the family I had. Will you ever reconcile? If they acknowledge the favoritism, apologize genuinely, and prove through years of changed behavior that I matter, maybe then. Do you regret leaving the wedding? Not for 1 second. Best decision I ever made. What about future weddings/events? I'm not attending unless something fundamentally changes. I'm done being the person everyone forgets to include. How do you feel now? Peaceful.
Clear. Free.
For the first time in my life, I'm not waiting for scraps of acknowledgement. I'm just living. At my sister's wedding, the photographer kept saying, just family for this one. I stepped out of every shot. After an hour, I realized I hadn't been in a single photo. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. I didn't confront anyone. I just left through the side door. 2 days later, they finally noticed. By then, I was already gone. And I'm never coming back. One photo out of 847. That's the proof I needed that I was never really part of the family. Now I have my proof. And they have their perfect album. With their perfect daughter. And the brother no one remembered to include. The absence in those 846 photos says more than my presence in one ever could. And that's exactly the statement I wanted to make. Not with words. Not with confrontation. Just with empty space where I should have been. Poetic justice. Served cold. Through the side door.